0, 1. Let's get started.
Hello and welcome back, pro traders. In today's episode, I'll be sharing with you all my professional day trading strategy on the S&P 500 and using that strategy on one of your favorite stocks. And in today's video, that's going to be none other than Netflix, okay? So make sure you stay tuned. You can make some money. So let's get right into things. Now, ultimately, looking at Netflix here on a 15-minute time frame, so we're talking intraday / day trades, okay? You can see that whatever the news event for this earnings was pretty poor, okay? That doesn't really matter. What matters is what we see on the charts, though, obviously, right? And from this perspective, it's pretty clear that it's a big bearish move down that just doesn't quit, right? It just keeps going lower and lower. So that's a very key characteristic of how we need to trade this thing. So for right now, the bears have a strong hold onto this. So that means that any future pop that we would be expecting should be looked to be sold upon, basically, okay? So that kind of leads me to the very first variation, that if we do find some strong move to the upside for whatever reason, whether it's news or whatever, we should be looking to sell this thing, okay? So this is a very promising idea that, again, pop up, sell the market back down. So however long that you're trying to trade this system, whether it's intraday or swing trade, this is a pretty good idea of how you should be looking at the market and context-wise. Now, other than this scenario, I think the only other thing realistically that can form at least shorter term would be the fact that this turns into some sort of range, okay? Now the range should be pretty prominent down here as some sort of rotation off of the lows like so. So if we get another higher high here or a high here and then we pull back down, and you notice that we're basically just kind of statically barcoding to the right-hand side, we can take advantage of this as well, okay? We can take advantage of this because now we know that this is a range. And what do ranges often like to do? Ranges clearly like to rotate, okay? So in this sort of rotation in which we go from the highs to lows, highs to lows, highs to lows, we are looking basically to favor momentum, which momentum is clearly bearish as we already talked about, okay? So in this situation of rotation of range, we are basically looking for that same sort of pop. So let's say we go like this, okay? We look for that same sort of pop to the upside, although it should be a bit more shallow because it's a range. And then from that perspective, we can now look to short inside that range, not only looking to get the low, but obviously now looking to get the extension over the low based on the extension above the high, okay? So again, in this scenario, let's just assume that the range midpoint in which you will find will be somewhere right there, okay? If that's going to be the range midpoint, then we can now assume that the distance of whatever is above that range midpoint, again, this is assuming that this is the range midpoint, is going to be the distance we can use now underneath, okay? So we can just use this as a stipulation for some of the better extensions that we should be expecting in Netflix, all right? So I know this is a big stock, and chances are it will probably end up being in this consolidation, so definitely keep this one on your radar. However, if some crazy news event comes in and it does spike up just a little bit, then you should be able to tackle this with a bearish instance as well, okay? Now, other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I think that there's really only two other variations that are a little less likely to happen that we need to cover, okay? The other variation, it's not necessarily less likely to happen, but if we go down lower, it doesn't really change anything, okay? If we go down lower, we're still looking for either that red case scenario, which is the three-legged pullback, and then a return back to the downside, or this thing is going to turn into some sort of range, which again, we're looking to try to sell any pops outside that range, okay? So if we go down, it doesn't really change things. Even if we go down and go down again, okay, it doesn't really change anything. We're still looking for that three-legged pullback and then a range, okay? So let that just be the first thing. The other thing that you need to be aware of is the fact that, let's just say the market doesn't want to reverse. This is typically what should happen. However, let's just say we pull back and keep going higher. How do you tackle that now, right? At that point, market is clearly shifting momentum, okay? The market has gone way too far off that low for it to realistically be deemed as bearish. As bearish. So from that perspective, now we change our game plan, okay? We mold and we flow with the market, and now we're simply looking to buy off of future dips, okay? Now, again, everyone, if you want to see me trade this exact system, okay, live every single Monday through Friday, then come join me on the YouTube channel. There's a live stream that I put up where you can see me on NinjaTrader trading the S&P 500 futures using this exact same system, okay? So you may not understand it just quite yet, but when you learn this system, at least see it in action, things become a lot more clearer, okay? So that being said, everyone, those are going to be the preferred variations you need to be aware of. I actually think this is a pretty good opportunity to make some money. I would favor, obviously, like we mentioned before, the red or the yellow scenario, looking for the rotation to come back to the downside. But if at any time the market gets a little weird and wants to break up higher, pretty much anything above like 1150, let's just say, then chances are momentum shifting and you need to change your opinion and outlook to looking to buy dips, okay? Just be super patient. Don't let it get a hold of you. Wait for the levels, and you should be just fine with NFLX, okay? So again, everyone, if this has helped you out, then simply like and subscribe. If you want to learn about how to trade this system yourself, look down below, and I will catch you all on the next candle.
I know it's hard to trust so-called gurus. That's why I live stream my trades every single day, Monday through Friday, starting at 9:30 a.m. The live stream isn't for you to copy my trades, it's to show proof and credibility that my strategy works. The stream is delayed and muted to protect my edge. But if you want to see everything unmuted and in real time, check out the Discord and Patreon links below. You'll get exclusive perks and the opportunity to learn the system for yourself, so you don't miss great opportunities just like this one.
All right, everyone. So you're going to be seeing a trade that I just recently took live during the stream, and ultimately you can be a part of this too, so make sure you look down below. But when taking a look at the trade that we just recently took here, it was the objective coming in was the fact that we had a really big move push to the upside, okay? Now this big move to the upside was basically counterplayed by a pullback, and subsequently our entry was to look to get in right above a couple pivots to retest the prior high, okay? So what you're seeing right now is the replay of my actual entry, which was right here at this 68.1925 area. And again, ultimately, like I was saying before, our main objective from this standpoint is to look to try to retest this prior high back at 68, let's just say 38. So what we are looking at right now is my volatility-based stop loss in perfect action, okay? Every trade and every day has a different stop loss based on the volatility of the day specific. So when taking a look at this trade specifically, you can see that we came relatively close to getting stopped out, okay? However, we did not get stopped out, and we ultimately reversed just like we were expecting. Now, obviously a bit deeper of a correction, but everything was within the wheelhouse of what we were expecting. As you can soon see here in just a few seconds, we ended up getting that first target as it hits right there. And then with a little bit more patience, we did end up getting the second target as well. Now just be aware, after you get your first target, you do want to stop the risk, which is why we did pull the stop up to right around and or above our entry pivot, okay? Now from this standpoint, again, we were just waiting, being patient. And I was referencing in this part of the video what we talked about in our afternoon game plan videos, okay? I was basically saying that we were looking at this in terms of that green case scenario that we mentioned on our nightly recap videos, and that we were essentially looking for a continuation going higher, okay? Now we kind of phased that back to where we were. We did have that bigger move that went up, and now this is the three-legged pullback, and again, the retest to the high. Now, at the very least, I am expecting it to retest the high and potentially continue going higher, which is why we have those targets above us, okay? But in essence, we ended up getting that next target with a bit of patience. Definitely some patience was required. And then we ended up tightening up our stop loss and then getting trailed out without hitting the extension, okay? Now, all in all, this was a $2,500 trade. So if you want to be a part of the situation just like this, then be sure to look down below for the Discord/Patreon links, or come and join the muted, delayed live stream every 9:30 here on the YouTube channel.